A very good evening to one and all present here. I, Navpreet, on behalf of my platform Infinite Me, welcome you all on this very informative talk show, which I have introduced and launched. And this is my first session on this talk show by the name The Power Hour. I'm looking forward to hold many more um, talk shows on the same platform, and I'm hoping that I'll be bringing you some really insightful topics for the same. So today I welcome my very dear friend, Miss Shikha Sondi. She is also a wonderful educator and she has taught in university. She has been into content development. She has done her master's in mass communication and journalism. And she is otherwise also a very proficient English communicator. And she keeps exploring her areas in different aspects of when it comes to teaching English, learning English, exploring English, and spreading English as a very comfortable language in terms of communicating. So she is doing a wonderful job with kids as well. She has guided many children to write books and stories and books. So she is a continuous effort maker in that, and she is, I would say, a wonderful facilitator, a guide, and a mentor for children. Presently, she is working in Manu Rachna International School, Mohali, as a PGT English. I welcome you, Shikha. Thank you so much for joining today with me here to hold
Thank you.
this insightful
Thank you
talk.
for such an elaborate introduction. But then, believe me, I would say that that's not even somewhere near you. You're doing a lot more than what I'm doing, and I think that's not even near or close to you anyway. Okay, so you've talked on such an elaborate level about me. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity of being on the talk show, especially regarding the Power R, which stands for reading, right?
Yes.
Go ahead,
So
yeah.
I'm hoping that I'll be bringing up. So this is one thing which was sticking my mind since a long time, and I was looking forward to a person who would actually give meaning to this topic and the talk. So I couldn't find anyone else better than you. So here we are. So I want to tell my audience that today's topic is let's take our mind on a vacation. So I read this sentence somewhere and it actually I really liked it. So let me put the same sentence as the topic of my talk today. And this is all about how we can actually instill the love of for reading in our children. These days we all know that everything is getting digitized, and we as individuals spend a lot of time on screen. Though I'm not saying that technology is a bad thing. Technology has given us a lot of freedom. It has made things so very much easy for us these days, be it anything. I'm not going into the detail of that aspect right now, but yes, technology has been a boon. But just taking something a lot of advantage of, like if we take advantage of this thing a lot, then I guess somewhere we are all missing out on some very other important aspects of our life. So among that, as one of my verticals, like at my platform Infinite Me, I cater to four important verticals. One is the communication skill trainings for professionals across different working areas, and another one is which I cater to for leaders, like how to be a leader than a preacher. Third vertical is specifically related to adolescents. So this particular session I want to dedicate to my adolescents and the adolescents and their parents, as well as the educators who are dealing with adolescents. So it's very important that we do not miss out on some very important aspects when it comes to academics as well as our life. And this is one aspect which I think is very much important to ponder upon and to talk out. because our kids are too very much intrigued and distracted by the digital media these days that they have totally lost the taste of reading books. So, here, me and Shikha will be sharing with you some very useful insights because I have already planned some questions for Shikha on behalf of all of you here so that she can give her insightful views on the same. So, Shikha, are you ready? All right, you're on mute, Shikha. You're on mute.
I, I said, let's go ahead.
All right, all right. So, here goes my first question to you. What made the charm of reading books fade away?
Um, See, something that is a boon, these days is a lot more to blame about it. But then we're living in the 21st century, and digitalization is very, very important and essential. So there were the times, when technology was not so high or not in so much of demand, and we were not dependent on technology. And those were the times when we used to rely on books, reading books, and reading was, in fact, the only way to enhance your language skills. But
Hmm.
then with digitalization, there's so many platforms, there's so many resources available that kids do not value books these days.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
along with it, they have handy devices,
Hmm.
they have technology at their hand, so reading somewhere, do you must remember, I'm sure you do, when we found any word difficult for pronunciation, or when we had to look for the meaning of some word, we would
Hmm.
fall back on our dictionaries.
Dictionaries,
I'm
right?
sure
Right.
these days, if you ask our children, nobody carries a dictionary these days.
Hmm. No.
We
Yeah.
don't know the value of carrying a dictionary, owning a
Yeah.
dictionary. Nobody bothers
Hmm.
to. So, what do we tell? Even as parents, we would tell our kids, okay, let's Google it and find the meaning for you.
Yeah.
So, we
Very
are the
true.
ones, we can't blame technology altogether. It's us
Hmm.
also, a lot of, uh, you know, things depend on us, how we can engage our own children, how we can let them carry forward the value with which
Hmm.
we've grown. So,
Yeah.
thesaurus, I remember using thesaurus a number of times to find out synonyms or antonyms, but our kids don't know. Probably
Hmm.
that's the reason. If I say our kids lack that kind of vocabulary that we developed and registered in ourselves.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Very
This
right,
is
very right. I mean, this is a wonderful thing that you have pointed out that we cannot blame technology for everything, but how
exactly.
we have also come at ease as
Yes,
parents with
yes,
technology is also playing a big role when we talk about that our kids are not reading books anymore. And I remember
exactly.
those pocket-sized dictionaries that we used to carry in our bag, and our teachers used to be after our life that carry dictionary with you, you have to see the meaning, and then we used to scroll over the pages. I still remember
Yeah,
those days. So it was
yes,
wonderful, no doubt. Yeah, thank you so
absolutely.
much, Shikha, for this. So how would you rate digital reading over paper book reading, like if you have to
Uh,
give a rating, a rating for that?
if I have to give, I would like to keep it just in between, in the middle of the scale. Because
Hmm.
if I say I don't want to keep it in the middle of the scale, I would
Hmm.
say that
Okay, Shikha, you are on hold.
so there was some connectivity
Yes.
issue, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
okay. Yeah,
So,
now it's good.
so I would not be doing justice to those who rely on digital resources. Those who see,
Hmm.
if I talk about my own self, I
Hmm.
enrolled myself recently into a diploma course,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
it is taking some time for the notes to reach me. Now
Yeah.
I depend on technology. The
Yeah.
university has online resources available, and they've suggested me that by the time the actual notes, the hard copy reaches me, I can refer to the online resources. So
Hmm. Hmm.
somewhere we cannot say that we can't rely on online
Hmm.
stuff. We do
Hmm.
have to, because we are living in the 21st century, and there's something that we really cannot help
Hmm.
about
Yeah.
it. But it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that the charm that those books, that
Hmm.
reading loses because of digitalization. We must value and we must acknowledge how
Hmm.
reading books can help us grow as a person as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very right. The other day I was traveling to Delhi, and then on the station, like on every station these days, we have a stall which carry all so many books, है ना? So I
Mhm.
remember my mom, she was a big time fan of Premchand. Munshi Premchand.
Uh-huh.
So I have never read any Hindi book apart from my syllabus books so far. Though I have started reading a lot of other books now at a later age, but there I came across one book which is Godan. I guess that is one of the very
Uh-huh.
famous
Yeah.
novels of Munshi Premchand. So I was like, really, it was happening to me that I should buy this. I should buy this, and then I just thought that let me. I mean, just think about it and then let me buy it next time. So, what I have observed for myself is that when I started reading books recently, so it is actually very much intriguing because as you turn over the pages, now you really don't know what's
Exactly.
coming up next. So it keeps your excitement on, and I mean, I don't know, that is just a kind of habit that we build, and a kind of passion that we develop slowly and steadily towards reading books.
Yeah,
And you said
absolutely.
very rightly that it has its own charm which cannot be replaced by either of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, technology is necessary, but again, I would just want to add one point here that even if we are reading online, I would love our kids to select or be guided for to select the material that is supposed to be read and that can actually add value to their life and academics
Nav-
altogether.
Yeah, Navpreet, this I have on my mind because I was just thinking when we go further with you're asking me questions. I am going to talk about this.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next question. So, if kids are encouraged to read paper books, how do you think that would benefit today's generation?
See, first thing is as parents or as adults, we must let the kids choose a book for them, age
Oh,
appropriate, okay, a
yeah.
suitable material. So it becomes our responsibility to expose our children to the stuff that they should read. And out of probably, I would say that this generation understands the language of social media. They understand words like series, you see.
Hmm.
So get hand over a series of books probably and let them choose from the series. Okay, so
Yes.
just like they move on with levels of games, they understand this
Yeah.
language. So
Yes.
building connection is very, very important. So they play
Wow.
games and they move to the next level, and then they move to the next level, and then, so like
Hmm.
them, we can engage them in a series of books, buy a series of books, let them
Hmm.
choose, okay,
Hmm.
and let them go and give them some incentive. Okay, you've finished off, so we need to develop a kind of a family culture of reading. Okay, probably as a parent also, even if you don't read, just say
Hmm.
that, okay, okay, or get hands on a small book. Maybe I know parents do
Yes.
not have time enough, but then probably one day in a month they can spare, or maybe if you really are keen to develop reading habit among your
Hmm.
children, so
Hmm.
you should have this habit of, okay, I'm reading this, you read this, let's see who finishes off reading our
Yes.
stuff. Then we share, or we
Yeah.
exchange the stories, or you tell me something about yours and I tell you something about mine. So these kids understand gaming, kids
Hmm.
understand the word like series, they
Hmm.
understand the word like sequencing, levels.
Yeah.
So we need to
Yes.
get connected to them in their language that they
Yes.
understand. And then
Yes.
I would say strategically we,
Yes.
and let them enter this world of reading.
Hmm. Very rightly said. I really love the point that you made that we actually have to connect ourselves to their level.
Ah,
That from which
absolutely.
level they think, they operate, and they process things. Very rightly said. I mean, because this is a generation which is not like us. So we are
Which,
told
yeah.
and we do that. Yeah. So they will ask
Tell them
why.
that you read a book, like our parents would say that you read bedtime stories or you read before you go to bed and something like that. They won't understand. They already are dealing with a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Uh, because of the present day competition,
Hmm.
because of the present day industry demands, we can't just force them into reading. We can't expect that kids would read like they did, those earlier times like us.
Yes, yes, very
Yeah.
rightly said. So again, it's a eye opener for the parents as well as for the educators. This is a very valid point made here, that how we can actually strategize ourselves and come to the level of connection with the children so that we can actually encourage them. So these are very insightful words which she used. Please try and follow these if you want to instill this habit of reading in your children. Yeah, the next question we move on to, Shikha. So that is, apart from technical aspect, how are books aligned with our emotions and feelings?
Say, books connect with reality.
Hmm.
If we take example from, let's say, fiction or stories, you know,
Hmm.
uh, these are picked up from real life situations.
Yes.
If you say that we need to develop language skills among the children and then reading helps that, that's a different thing. But then I have seen a personal growth in my own self.
Hmm.
You develop your own perspective towards things.
Hmm.
How to analyze situations.
Hmm.
You get to know about how you can make wiser choices and decisions, because you're reading characters, you're going through people's life through
Hmm. Hmm.
books. Even if they are
Hmm.
fiction, they're picked up from real life situation, and then you're able to build connections.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is an old proverb which says, "Reading maketh a man,"
Hmm.
and that's
Hmm.
true till date. So
Yeah.
you read and you really grow as a person also.
Yeah. 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 Thank you so much. Yes, it's very beautiful to understand that how reading books, and I find this one thing only very fascinating, that when we pick up a book, we open it, and of course according to our own interest we open it, and then we scroll through the pages. So it's like going through a life, like going through a
Ah,
journey, when you read a book. So slowly and steadily that you get so caught up with every page, and then what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next. And of course when we read, we start relating. When we start relating, then a lot of things come into our mind, the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, that, and there are so many times it happens, there are so many instances in the books when we very much relate ourselves to what is going on with us, to what is written in the book itself. So yeah, definitely it is like, again, wonderful, like we grow as we read. So very nicely said, thank you so much for that. Yeah, next question we move on to. So how we can encourage children to spend time in reading books, Shikha? This is one of the biggest challenge, I guess, these
this
days,
is the
which,
trickiest thing. See,
yeah.
as I told you that we've got to connect with them. Kids like the idea of clubs.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, kids like the idea of socializing.
Uh,
Kids like the idea of being active. Kids like the
hmm.
idea of being up to date with their friends and the circle. So
Hmm.
why don't we make social reading clubs
Wow.
for
Yes.
the
Yeah.
children? They understand this. So get them
Yeah.
into this. Okay, why? Let's make a club. Let's socialize. Let's have discussions over
Hmm.
something that we read. Okay,
Hmm.
let's have a club of this kind. Okay, so kids
Yeah.
understand. So this is just one of the things which I am mentioning. There are a lot many other strategies and tricks that we as parents or teachers can, eh, you know, okay, they understand gaming, so let's play a game of characters or something like
Hmm.
that. So,
Hmm.
so something which they understand, we need to get into that zone. We need
Hmm.
to see what they understand. We need to see how they have a habit of socializing, social circle and things like that. They
Yeah.
want to get highlighted in their
Yeah.
friend circle, and so this is something very beautiful to get highlighted about, that you're turning into an intellectual by reading
Yeah.
books. And definitely you can have intellectual talks. Okay,
Yeah.
so yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is
Oh,
one.
wonderful. I mean, as I'm listening to you, I am myself getting so very much excited like a student. Like, if I would have gotten this chance to do like this, oh my God, it would have been so fantastic. Yes, in my school, again, we used to have. jam sessions, we used to have symposiums, we used to have
Ah,
seminars and all. But that is kind of a one way communication. A person is presenting and others are listening. But this concept of socializing through reading is going to be a mind blowing thing if we all could actually incorporate. Because till now I have heard about social parties, I've heard about
ah,
social dances, right? So similarly we can have social reading circles, right? Oh my god, that is going to be a fantastic initiative. So anybody who is listening to this talk and who will be watching this, I guess you all will get a new idea of the new types of clubs that you can actually introduce in your schools, or maybe like in your own personal family circles where your kids are
yes.
actually socializing over the books. Oh my god, this is going to be something really new and something really mind blowing. Thank you so much for that, Shikha. Yeah. So next question is, what are the few best practices that can be incorporated in schools? We can talk about in schools and at home differently. If you could mention few strategies, that would be great, Shikha. So best practices that can be incorporated in schools and at home to encourage reading of books by children.
See, for at home, I've already mentioned that parents need to put in little more efforts, like getting them into social clubs for reading,
Hmm.
developing a family culture of reading. Fix up a
Hmm.
day, one day a week, where
Yeah.
everybody's family reading time or something like that, and then you
Yes.
exchange. Okay, so there
Yeah.
are a number of things that can be done at home.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
If
Hmm.
you talk about schools, I believe that kids already read a lot at
Hmm.
schools.
Hmm.
But then, yes, again, this idea of uh, uh, getting into some kind of a readers club, giving
Hmm.
children some kind of incentive,
Hmm.
asking them to write, indulge in activities like writing reviews of stories
Hmm.
or books,
Yeah.
getting them
Yeah.
published.
Hmm.
Kids, you give them incentive in the form of, let's say, kid is getting published, so that
Hmm.
will motivate the child. Okay, this time I've probably published in a school magazine or
Hmm.
on any online platform for the
Hmm.
school. So you get
Hmm.
children engaged in reading of the book and writing a
Hmm.
review for it. Write a
Yeah.
review for the character, write a review for the story or something like that. So there's, if you talk about, it's a very, very vast field. We can't just restrict it to a small thing like writing a review and rating it. There are a lot of things that we can get the kids indulged into and engage
Hmm.
into.
Hmm.
So there are a lot of areas to explore and encourage kids. It's just that we need to have that spark of doing
Yeah.
it for the children the right way.
Yes. Yes. So,
Yeah.
Shikha, one last question which has just come to my mind, that nowadays what is happening is that in India specifically, like even if the child is studying in a very good school, international school, and a good public school, which is totally English medium, still there is a good percentage of students who feel stuck in English language. They don't have that kind of fluency, they don't have that kind of confidence, they shy away to talk in English because they're more comfortable in their own mother tongue, or maybe Hindi or Punjabi, whatever, or whichever regional language they belong to. So what is lacking? I mean, if I talk about schools only specifically here, so what is actually lacking? Why we are not able to put every child under that umbrella where they are so very much confident in communicating in English and
Now,
expressing
Phil,
themselves?
one thing that I would ask you is, did you learn your mother tongue from anywhere?
No, I learned
No.
it at home. I learned
You
it
ac-
at home.
you acquired language, right? So
Yeah,
nobody learns language. Language becomes a habit,
yeah,
right? Language
yeah.
becomes a habit, and
Okay, you have gone on
we've
mute.
got to learn language just like we have
Hmm.
developed other habits,
Yeah. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So
So.
language is a habit. Yeah,
Hmm.
language is a habit, and just like we develop a taste or flair, or just like we acquire our mother tongue,
Hmm.
we must acquire the foreign language, and for that we need to develop it as a habit. So that means we've got to read more, we
Hmm.
need to listen more.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we learned our mother language through listening, and then we
And
started speaking. So there is
yes.
this skill listening first, and then speaking, then reading, and then writing. So we
Yeah.
listen more, then we
Hmm.
speak,
Hmm. Hmm.
then we read more, and then we start writing more.
Very
Yeah.
right. Very right. So yes. So everything you see, everything has a, method to follow. Everything has a sequence to follow. And of course, if we are able to do it in the correct manner, then there is nothing that is impossible. And today on this platform, I am really happy and excited to have such a wonderful conversation with you, Shikha. And thank you so much for putting in the
Thank you,
valuable
Lakshmi.
insights. Yeah, so I'm planning for my audience some new talks, which again will be catering to different areas. So this was specifically for school children, and whether they are in their adolescence or they are younger kids, and for parents and educators as well. If you are anytime inspired by this talk, do let us know in the comment section below, and let us know what you felt about it and was it useful or not. We will be coming up with more powerful talks in future. Thank you everyone, those who have joined or maybe those who will watch it later, for watching or for joining this Power Hour. And thank you so much, Shikha, for being here.
Thank you, Lakshmi.
And
Thank you so
I
much.
wish you all the best for your future endeavors and enjoy your party. So
Wish
she
you
was
good
in a
luck.
party. So enjoy your
May
party
you,
and have a good time.
may you continue conducting such sessions, Navpreet. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a wonderful time.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.